Episode 195 of the TV Dudes podcast, recorded August 9th, 2018. Shit. God damn it.
What?
2016?
We're going back in time.
Man.
The Boys of Summer. So Grant is not here this week. He is off in Niagara Falls. That's not a joke. That's actually where he is.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize where he was.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
So it's just us running it. We are the TV Dudes, and I'm Randy.
I'm Les.
And I'm Kyle.
And so we're going to try and not fuck this up too much. We are talking about a few summer shows. We're talking about Making It, the new craft reality show from
Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman.
Thank you, on NBC.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about Lodge 49, the new show from AMC, along with the return of Better Call Saul.
Oh,
and
so
of course, we're going to check back in on Castle Rock, which we're checking on every week because we're all digging that show. Yep. Except Kyle hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah. I actually just got back from Castle Rock, Wisconsin.
Have you read a Stephen King book in your life?
Actually, Shining, yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be good. You'll be good. All right, so we'll be covering those shows. Before we get to that, a few bits of house cleaning. As always, you can go throw some support over at patreon.com/tvdudes. Throw us a buck an episode. And in return, not only do you get the dulcet tones of the TV Dudes,
Dulcet.
you get a bonus episode. Well, we discuss something not TV related.
Yes.
And it could be anything. We don't know what it's going to be this week.
More tones included for free.
And also, we are part of the Electric Sweater Network.
Electric Sweater. Can't believe you fucks left me hanging on that.
I was going to do a little sweater.
There we go.
I'm the announcer. I can't also be the singer. It doesn't work.
Oh, yeah, it does. No,
Yeah.
it probably doesn't.
Are we still
All
workshopping?
right, we'll try it one more time.
All right.
All right.
We are part of the Electric Sweater Network.
Electric Sweater.
Sweater.
And we've got a variety of TV-related podcasts. We got women. I should have researched all this. We've got
TV.
Melissa is doing her Femme TV, which is a great podcast. We have Mr. Robot O. We have
Which also features Melissa.
which also features Melissa. We have a show about canceled shows that Les is doing.
Yep, The Good Die Young, which I'm working on season 2 right now. We got Pilot Watching.
Yep, with Key and Clyde, and This Is Us, also with Key and Clyde. So go check those out. Give them a listen. And we're going to jump over to the news.
The news.
All right, so gentlemen, I don't know how much. Is anyone still watching the CW shows?
I am.
Les, you are?
I'm taking that bullet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw they brought Smallville to Hulu, and I was like, that might be fun to go down that rabbit hole again.
It's not as fun as you.
Is it 10? Are you going to watch 10 seasons of 22 episodes?
The only reason I say
think
that.
I only missed the last 4 seasons.
I
maybe.
loved Smallville, but go online and find yourself somebody's breakdown of like the key mythology episodes or something like it. They're just long seasons, and there's a bunch of them. Also, it turns out that the proxy. What was her name on the show?
not Kristen Crook. Chloe.
She got roped into it too.
Allison Mack.
Allison Mack. Yeah.
I kind of have an affinity for this show because before there was Netflix and Chill, there was Kyle has a couple seasons of Smallville and Chill. So it was kind of like my first, binge watch with a warm body next to me show.
You were running your own sex cult.
I was just thinking, how deep did you rope these women in? Though?
Oh my gosh, they brainwashed me.
Yeah, because Allison Mack.
It turned out Allison Mack was running a really, really dark
I have
sequel
not
to
rewatched
Smallville.
Smallville since knowing that about her.
Yeah.
Does that make me
fucked up.
bad because I like her more?
It in fact does.
Don't read it. Yeah, when you hear Allison Mack running a sex cult,
It's not as fun as
that sounds great. Don't research it. Don't look into it. Do not look into it.
All right, I'm not going to use my imagination.
Super bad. It's terrible.
But the reason I bring up the CW is that we have now got a new Batwoman.
This, though, is fantastic.
This is really exciting. Ruby Rose from Orange is the New Black and John Wick.
Well, John Wick 2, right?
Yeah, John Wick 2 is going to be Batwoman, she's openly gender fluid, and she's playing one of the first openly lesbian.
Out lesbian.
Yeah, it's a good character. It's
Your
good
move,
casting.
Marvel.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like, I'm sorry. Someone is subtly maybe pansexual in a movie, but because we simply didn't mention it, nope, no more points for that bullshit.
Yep. Yeah.
Step it up. Also, I'm not sold on Ruby Rose as an actress yet. I haven't seen her really kill it in a role, but I haven't seen her been given a role with a lot of meat on it yet. I didn't.
I get that. I also here's the thing, and I don't mean to insult anyone, but the CW is not exactly like you don't have to bring your A game to the CW. I think Ruby Rose
She's going to look outstanding.
She'll be great on the CW.
That's actually my first thought was like she was pretty good in Orange Is the New Black. That means that she will come off as amazing if they structure this show right.
Exactly.
And this could be a really great growth opportunity for her, both as an actress.
Yeah.
Also, literally none of what I just said matters.
Yeah.
This is an absolutely spectacular move for television in general. Also, Batwoman, not Batgirl. I'm so happy that the first female Bat on screen with her own show is not a diminutive.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and then there's no Batman in the CW universe, and there's no plans for it. So
there is Batman in the CW universe. Ollie name dropped him last season.
Oh, did he? Okay, all right. So they also they haven't greenlit her show officially. She's going to show up in the December crossover.
Yes,
which is great because the crossover are usually the best those shows get.
No, that'll be a great way to weave her in, and also introduce Gotham, which they've not particularly touched on before. So they're expanding out the cities.
Yeah,
I'm excited. This will be a cool new offering. Honestly, if they handle it, my only concern, honestly, is that it touches more than Black Lightning does.
Yeah,
and I feel like I was so surprised with how well Black Lightning was done, but it's such in a bubble. It's literally its own freaking
own
world.
thing. Yeah,
and I'm a little concerned that they might out grimdark Arrow.
Yeah,
that's my. If I have a fear about where Batwoman might go, it's that they might out grimdark Arrow.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I am interested to see how a rather tropey set of shows, which I love the CW shows. I do. I joked about taking a bullet for them earlier, but they're cheeseball, and I still love them. But I'm interested to see how is this network's first big out lesbian? I mean, it's not Ellen. But like. This is huge.
It feels pretty big.
Her love interest, I'm hoping, doesn't die.
Yeah, same here.
Quick question.
The kill your gays trope can't work if it's the main character, right?
There's two ways this can... Actually, three ways this can go. One way, everybody loves the CW. They got their fans. That's their thing.
Yep.
The two other ways this could go is they've got like a really awesome Batwoman story to tell. And the other one is they don't really have anything awesome to throw at this.
Yeah.
And then she kind of gets caught in the crossfire. So I'm wondering, in your guys' opinion, do you think that they got another hit in them?
Oh, I think so. I think so because the Batwoman source material is really strong.
Right.
Greg Rucka was heavily involved in it. It's really well done.
I see what you're saying. Like the worst case scenario for this is that this is a bunch of marketing buzzwords assembled to make a good show at the right moment.
Yeah.
But that they don't have a good story to tell, and they're going to end up doing discarded B plots from Arrow.
I feel like they should almost be scared of that. So then they should put like more attention to like having great storytelling
But that's the thing. Like you said, the original source material for this, like Randy said, is
really
good.
strong.
And so there shouldn't be a problem finding that material, even if that were the original assembly reason for this show.
So just real quick, let's say that you hadn't watched any of these CW shows. Is there even any point of jumping in at this point? Like,
I would.
Is it too big?
Honestly, I would jump in at the crossovers.
Yeah.
Every time, because then it's like if you ever came into comics and you were in the middle of one of their crossovers, you didn't know what was going on, but there were so many characters you latched onto somebody that you liked.
Yeah.
And that's how you found.
And when the crossover was over, you're going to land in a new paradigm.
Yeah.
And that's always going to be a good jump in point.
Yeah, I'm always for jumping in. I'm for jumping in the deep end when it comes to story. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm doing crossovers this season.
Comics are also different than we treat them the same, and people keep getting annoyed. But they're different story structures than most other movies or shows or whatever.
Right.
Like,
and
it's always going to be a zoo. It's always going to be ever shifting. Nobody's ever fully dead. So just drop in wherever. Like you're jumping into a river. Don't get mad that it's not the beginning of it.
Yeah, and that brings. I'm going to talk about this on Better Call Saul, but there are some places where like I wouldn't jump into that show at season 4, much as I love it.
Oh yeah,
but you can definitely do it on a superhero show.
Yeah.
So another exciting bit of casting news is that Jean-Luc Picard is for sure coming back. Patrick Stewart is playing him. It is going to be post-Voyager. So
I
we're going
think
to see
fans are going to embrace this exactly as well as they loved Mark Hamill's return to Luke.
I think Star Trek's going to be a little bit more about giving the fans what they want, to be honest.
I think you're probably right.
I think.
I'm just waiting for the super backlash when Picard isn't exactly the Picard people.
Yeah, that's true.
We can't speak for the fans outside of this room, but what about the Star Trek fans inside this room? Like,
I'm super excited.
This is cool, right?
I'm
All
super
right.
excited for it.
Same
And
here.
I wasn't like a huge Star. I'm a casual Star Trek fan. Like I loved Voyager. I watched a bunch Next Generation, but that was like the only Star Trek I've watched a ton of. So for me, this is like huge news. This is like my captain coming.
Well, I was
back.
shocked when
Yeah.
Stewart said that they were going to bring him back as a Trump supporter. I think that's just a weird angle.
It is weird, especially since Trump had been dead for several centuries by then.
Really, yeah, he's a head in a jar Nixon style.
It's a little weird.
Futurama did it.
No, I am looking forward to this. I don't know, and I haven't read up to see if they've announced this. I don't know which rumored iteration of this show this might be.
we don't know.
They've been also, I think, tossing around a Starfleet Academy type show.
Yeah, and I think this is unrelated to that.
Okay, because and that was the first suggestion I ever saw was that then this is going to be Picard as head of Starfleet Academy.
Yeah,
having retired.
I've seen that possibility. I think that's kind of boring.
Oh, yeah, I'm afraid that would turn into training space cops or something like
or X-Men.
And I'll say I desperately want a show that every week explains to audiences how we get to a Starfleet society.
I would like to know.
I would love to know how you teach these ideals to young people, and I'd love to see a show demonstrating that and a Starfleet Academy thing. I'm deeply afraid that will not be the show that I would get out of that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping that this is shit hit the fan. We got to bring Picard back to take the ship over. Cantankerous old Picard. That would be awesome.
Maybe we'll see. I feel like that was what they did with Old Man Logan. He was cantankerous Xavier. I think he's got other gears. Like I feel like what we need is inspirational Picard. We need to see a society that's functioning, that's working, and that Picard is like one of the best exemplars of that society.
I deeply don't want Mirror Universe. I don't
either.
Dark Star Trek.
And I don't think we'll get it. I think that Discovery kind of did the dark Star Trek and the realistic Star Trek. I suspect that we will see something a little more hopeful, utopian, next-gen-y with this, but we'll see. All right. Duncan Jones, a.k.a. David Bowie's son, a.k.a. the director of the Warcraft movie, a.k.a. the director of Moon, which was
Mute.
great. And Mute.
Moon was pretty sick.
Is going to be adapting Tony Kent's novel Killer Instinct for his first television directing gig.
Not the combo fight game.
Not the combo fight game, which was my first thought.
On it, I mean, and it's 2018. Like, not an unreasonable assumption, right?
That the Warcraft guy would do a Killer Instinct movie.
That they'd be doing a Killer Instinct movie. I mean, shit, they're doing Sonic the Hedgehog.
The novel revolves around intelligence agents who, along with an Irish barrister and an American television journalist, uncovers a conspiracy threatening to destabilize the British government following a failed assassination attempt. The first novel is already published. There's a sequel to be published in 2019. It's something akin to the Jack Reacher books, I guess.
So like a smarter London is Falling?
Yes, something like that.
Or London is Falling?
Okay, all right.
Sure.
I was kind of hoping it was going to be sci-fi.
I liked the noirness of Mute, so that
Yeah.
I'm and how low key Moon was. So I could gritty crime from Duncan Jones would be cool, or conspiracy crime from Duncan Jones would be cool.
Yeah, okay.
You know what Moon had? Kevin Spacey. Can we still like Moon?
Yeah, you can like him because he's not in it.
He was an AI robot. You know, they programmed the voice a while back, and then everybody's like,
Yeah, but that's a Predator robot in that movie, man.
it also had Sam Rockwell. I feel like, God, please don't let anything awful come out about Sam
Yeah,
Rockwell.
I really don't want to find out anything out about it.
Because right now he's the saving grace in so many movies. And his dancing.
Gal Gadot, otherwise known as Wonder Woman, has been cast to play Hedy Lamarr in the documentary Bombshell, the Hedy Lamarr story.
I hope they do this right. This will be rad. There should be biopics about this woman. She's amazing.
Yeah. So I didn't know the deal with this. I know from the jokes in Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
But she was an inventor. Her invention paved the way for Wi-Fi.
She invented, I think, sonar or radar. Which was instrumental in.
I think it was sonar.
Yeah. But she's a pretty. She was a pretty woman, and so she can't be doing the maths.
Yeah. She also. She was also alongside all the MGM greats like Clark Gable, Jimmy Stewart, Spencer Tracy. But she was an actress and a scientist. Yeah. It's interesting. It might come to Showtime as a limited series. And Gal's just in the talks take the lead role, but it's interesting.
She'd be great as it.
Yeah.
Like, Hedy Lamarr was a knockout. Obviously, Gal Gadot looks amazing and can play smart, tough.
So this bit of news is in here mostly for me and Les. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend has its final season coming.
It's like Terriers is coming back?
And they have cast Skylar Aston as the new Greg.
Okay.
Skylar Astin is from Pitch Perfect. Also, a few other things, but Pitch Perfect is the notable thing. And what do we feel like this? What do you feel about Greg coming back as new Greg?
It's going to be weird, but honestly, I'll trust this show to do whatever. I also know that this is the season arc, like total number of seasons that they had initially planned. So I feel like they've got this up their sleeve and know what they're doing. I was so astonished with how Scott Michael Foster, I think is the actor's name. Nathaniel.
Yeah.
I was so amazed with how Nathaniel fit into the ensemble, and I would have sworn that was going to be a bad idea bringing that character
I thought
in.
that was going to be one of these characters we just hated.
I will totally trust Crazy X to do whatever.
You remember Ed, right? Show Ed?
Yeah. Oh, I loved Ed.
They brought in her.
The show that gave us Justin Long.
Yeah. Well, they brought in her like new beau, and I hated the guy. And I thought that's right. I thought that's what Nathaniel was going to be, like this guy that I just hated, and they were trying to make me convinced that there was a relationship there. But instead, it really worked. But Greg, we lost Greg. I don't know about all of this, but I feel like that was the actor. Like I thought the actor wanted out or something. I got the impression.
I don't know what happened there. I mean, he has I believe. He has a great name. Greg
Santino.
Santino.
Oh, not Greg Santino, but
Santino is his first name.
Santino Fontana.
Yeah, he has a spectacular name.
Yeah.
But I believe he also has, a lot of the cast has a background in Broadway or in singing, stage singing. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know, maybe he got tired of living in L.A. A lot of them moved out for the show.
I don't know either. But I'm sure maybe we're holding out, but you want to have Greg's arc back.
Honestly, I'm glad that they did this instead of bringing back Greg. I liked where his arc went, and it would have kind of ruined some of it for me for them to rope him back into this mess.
But they are bringing Greg back.
I mean, but new Greg.
But it's the same character.
So they're just replacing the actor.
They're replacing the actor.
Oh my God! I'm sorry. I cold misunderstood this. Like I thought they were just making a joke of like new Greg. That's not my name.
No. Sorry. Like new Greg is Greg.
No. Like they're just literally legit replacing that actor.
They're bringing him back. Yes.
They're pulling a Don Cheadle.
Darren. It's new Darren.
They say that the change will not be glossed over. That Rachel Bloom says it'll be a great statement on how our perception of people changes. So
let me rephrase. Then I feel like this is something they're rolling with. Like I wonder what happened.
Exactly. That's what I think. I think
you're right. I cold misunderstood. I thought they were going to make a joke of like I knew Greg, but and they are. They're still going to make a joke.
Yeah, they're going to make the joke. But I mean, I think probably that Greg's story wasn't done. It felt kind of abrupt when he left. And I think that I'm glad they're bringing it back and resolving it.
I kind of wondered honestly, the abruptness of it, it kind of fit for how the show is starting to have to really deal with realistically the not funniness of this.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I got to stay healthy. I need to be the hell away from you.
What if in this season, this guy who's replacing Greg, like everything goes great, and then in the season finale, shit goes bad, her perception changes, and then that old actor comes back to do like the last episode?
That'd be hysterical. Like if they keep swapping them out depending on her mood.
I'm calling it.
Like if they've got that up their sleeve and old Greg is still...
I'm old Greg.
Yeah, maybe he's got a downstairs mix-up happening.
All right, last bit of news. Super exciting. The next reboot is coming, and it's The Facts of Life.
Oh,
it's not super exciting.
They already did a reboot of Reboot.
Yeah, Facts of Life is the next thing they're considering. I don't know why.
Garrett died. Mrs. Garrett died.
Yeah, Mrs. Garrett just died. Do you think, was it like the Horcrux? Was she the last thing holding The Facts of Life reboot?
I think that's how these reboots work. I think that's how these remakes work. Like, I think like a light dings in a windowless office somewhere, and like they look at it like, oh, it's Facts of Lifetime.
Maybe we just don't know the facts of life anymore. It's time
we need
that
to relearn the facts of life.
Yeah, that's what our country needs right now.
Make America factual again.
Oh man, I'd
get that on a hat.
I do not need or want any more facts of life. All right, we are talking about Making It, Lodge 49, Better Call Saul, and Castle Rock. And first, let's talk about Making It.
Let's make it.
It took them 6 weeks to think of that.
Actually, their catchphrase.
Is that their catchphrase?
Yeah. Which I think is kind of funny when they do it.
So this is a new reality show. It's Nick Offerman, Amy Poehler, who are clearly friends in real life.
Living together in a tiny fort.
No, that I'd be super excited about.
Oh, dude, you haven't seen the second episode.
Oh, yeah. They
live together in a tiny fort.
It for the show.
Yeah, that's what they have admitted to, yeah.
I believe it. Is Megan Mullally in there somewhere?
No, but not on camera.
Okay,
but
all right.
it's a family show, man.
Family show. That's a different show. I'd watch that one too. Anyway, this is a competition show, sort of friendly competition along the lines of sort of like the makeup show or
MasterChef.
There is some money at the end, but
Yeah.
they're a little PBS about it. I love it. Like the kind of lack of prize. Like you get a patch.
I love the give up patches.
Oh man.
And I love how excited all the crafters are about
Yes.
the patches.
They assemble different just crafters from Etsy or woodworkers or people that do all sorts of different stuff. And yeah, they've kind of set up this huge studio, probably not much unlike a makerspace.
Yeah.
Feels a little bit like British Bake Off or Zumbo's Just Desserts.
It's a friendly competition show.
Pimp My Ride. A little bit of that in there.
But Offerman and Poehler are hilarious because he is like the making it guy. Like he is the very handy.
I
with
love
his,
that
with
she's
his hands.
fully inept.
Yeah. Oh, I do too.
Like I don't know if they're playing that up. I mean, I know they're playing that up, but
Yeah.
like he literally, I mean, he built that friggin' canoe they keep showing.
Yeah.
Like he
Built
is
it.
crazy
Yeah.
handy, and she is, from what I can tell, like gonna take her arm off with a glue gun if she gets one.
She's the point of view character for me because that's who I am.
Yo, yeah. None of this is not my show, but it's charming as all hell.
Yeah.
The thing that works so great about this, and where I think they may have kind of uncracked this reality TV type formula here, is these two, Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman, they're great improv comedians.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the hosts on these shows, they're not great improvers.
Right.
But this thing flows so well, and you can tell that a lot of it they're just like coming up with off the top of their head.
But it's not too busy. Like too often when you put two improv comedians or two people who want to improv around each other, you get 3 times the lines you need.
Yeah.
And they don't step all over each other. There's a lot of wonderful space where, like, with Offerman kind of looking around like someone challenged me on that. Like, all felt is made from beaver pelt.
Yeah. I love that he just gets away with it. He's like, you're still that pass?
And Amy Poehler's like, I have no idea if you're lying or not. Like, you look so serious about it.
I like both these guys, but I think as a non-crafty person, I didn't fall in love with the show. Like, it's really well done, but it's definitely not for me. And I only watched the first episode, but you guys watched both. You watched 2.
Yeah, no, I think the problem is this is great for what it is, but if you're not a fan of this reality-style competition show, it may not hook you.
Yeah.
I know in my household, we are hooked. We'll be sticking around till the end. But definitely in the second episode, they we'll get in spoilers to episode 2. One of the items that they did, they had to do a toy and like a playset area. And what this guy did, the felt guy, he made tacos out of felt. But instead of like pork, it was like little pigs that were like felt pigs with stuffing.
Yep.
And then he did a taco truck, and the taco truck had a menu that was in English and Spanish.
Yeah, because his daughter's in a Spanish immersion course.
Yeah.
So he made the whole thing like a Spanish language game also.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
But I'm like, why don't kids' toys have this type of thing there? Like a taco truck that teaches you Spanish. That's such a brilliant idea, and it took this like kind of crafting show to do it.
This reminds me also of things like Queer Eye, where it's like it's inspirational. Like you see people's passion in a way, like when you watch something like Top Chef, which I love Top Chef, sometimes people's passion can be kind of poisonous. Like their passion turns against everybody else. Like they're so pissed they didn't get their dish done that they're not thrilling in the cook. They're just kind of pissed at the other person who screwed things up for them. Here we're seeing them like put something out that they love, and they're showing, like you say, something that somebody else should have thought of by now, but they thought of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and too often adding the competition structure is so fake, and you end up not seeing people excel at the skill that I'm ostensibly watching the show to see on display.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm watching people choke.
Yeah.
And I don't really enjoy watching people choke that much. So after a very, very short amount of time on most of those shows, I'm like, wow, I don't really want to watch anymore. Nailed it. Like, and I don't want to watch like talented people get screwed by a clock or by false pressure.
Right.
And so there's been, so far in the 2 episodes, there's been very little of the somebody screwing up in a way that you're like, oh shit, you're out.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Well, and they're so upset that they have to send anybody home.
oh yeah, no. Amy Poehler's like, so what if instead we just keep adding people? and like because I watched them out of order. I watched the second episode first, so I kind of knew by inference like one of you is not there. And so when the lady was like, oh wow, you're actually cutting up the fabric of your grandmother's quilt. I'm like, oh shit, you don't make it to episode 2. Ow. And then it made the whole thing just like, oh lady, I don't know where this is going, but I know it's not going to go well because you don't make it to the next episode.
Womp womp.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh.
But no, I think if you like shows like this and you're a fan of Nick Offerman and Amy Poehler, you're going to really dig this.
This is more charming than most.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to AMC, and AMC has 2 shows. Their returning show, Better Call Saul. But before that, we're going to talk about their new show, Lodge 49, which Les has seen 5 episodes of.
Yeah,
because he had some screeners.
Fancy.
Yeah, if you dig back through our interviews from ATX Fest, there's so many of them, but 2 of them. One was Peter and Dan, the producers of this show, and then one was Brent and Wyatt, the 2 of the stars.
Wyatt being Kurt Russell's kid.
Yes, Wyatt Hawn Russell.
So this is created by a guy named Jim Gavin.
Yes,
this is his first thing.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
And it's a weird Don Quixote-ish kind of looking for meaning in today's world, trying to find serendipity or trying to find some magic.
Yeah,
in the world. And it unspools. AMC loves them an unspooling slow show.
Oh yeah.
They ordered this straight to series, which is not AMC's normal move.
Yeah.
So that was a very different. Like AMC's kind of trying some different stabs at show formats, and then to promote what I still feel is a dumb way to set up your streaming service. There's a thing called AMC Premiere, and they're dropping all 10 at once. They should have just done what CW does. There's already an AMC app that you already have to have a cable login for.
Yeah.
Just put all 10 up right there. I do think they're right in making this all available somehow all at once, because this is a show. We talked about this on Castle Rock the first time we talked about it. It's good that Hulu drops 3 at once, even though they're going to dole them out week to week, because it gets you into it. Lodge 49, you need time to hang out with these characters.
Yeah.
Like Wyatt Russell's character, Dudley. I think it's his name. It's his full name.
Dudley's
but
his last name.
Yeah, so everybody just calls him Dud.
Yeah.
Like the constant whiskey in the cup. He's got a messed up foot. Living in houses that are for sale that he used to breaking back into houses he used to live in. It's just such a sad sack fucking around California kind of vibe.
Oh, yeah.
I also think, too, that idea that he goes back to these houses that he used to live in, especially in the first episode where it's like his childhood house.
Yeah, and
with
he gets caught.
He doesn't care. He just, I need this to feel better. It doesn't matter, the consequence.
So, Kyle, you and I only saw 1 episode of this.
Yep.
Do you intend to continue on with it?
Yeah, I say I'm really digging this. I'm digging this for just getting 1 episode of it.
Yeah.
Like Les was saying, I would have loved to check out more, but I was having trouble figuring out that streaming service.
Yeah, their interface is not great.
So, no, I was digging the first episode. I also kind of like this idea of fraternal societies and secret orders. I'm thinking if they have more fun with it and it's not as serious, Wilfred maybe is probably a good example of something like that.
It's listed as comedy drama. What would you say the tone is going forward?
There's a wackiness to it.
Oh, that's why you're wincing at me, because you know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So there's a wackiness to it.
Yeah.
And I grew up with an Elks Lodge in my town.
Okay.
I grew up in a dry town, so
that's where you go drink.
So you had to have a membership in a club to be able to drink, right? So if your parents wanted to have a beer with their steak dinner or whatever, and maybe a small dance floor, that's the Elks Lodge. Mm-hmm. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, no, the nation. I mean, it's a joke in the Flintstones. This country used to be just littered with fucked up, weird little odd fellow organizations. You still see signs for them and occasionally around town. Yeah. And so I kind of dig that idea. I also like the just weird overlay of let's let's make the world more magical than it is. Like, this is also what manifests as conspiracy theory for people. Like, let's make the world make more sense or have a bigger plan. Yep. But there's like it's also where religion comes from. Like, there's an innate human need to make the world more tolerable for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I like the wackiness that comes up in this show because the guys that are part of this club, it's a bar. Like, for some of them, it's more magical than they all like all of these wacky people that you slowly meet over the show that are the other club members. They all have their reason for like where they hit their point in their life, where like this social club became their core, right?
Yeah.
But for almost none of them, is it the mysteries that you are learning in the rituals, right? Except Dud. Dud is genuinely stoked about this to a degree that the rest of them are like, wow, okay. I'll get him the book, I guess.
Well, I mean, because Dud finds it in this weird, like Dud's wandering through life. He's
he thinks it's legit magical.
And he's on the first. They open with him on the beach with a metal detector, and he finds this ring. Yeah, and it's like finding a Green Lantern ring.
Yeah, and like he follows that and finds that well, it's not even follows that. Like, he happens to be driving around and looks up and sees the same symbol that's on the ring.
Yeah,
like it is very serendipitous. Yeah.
Now, do you guys get? You mentioned, of course, when you were talking to me about this, that you saw this had a little commonality with terriers in some ways.
So you have only seen one episode.
Yeah,
there is a body that gets discovered.
Okay,
in a pretty funny. Like, I see why they named this comedy. Like, it gets discovered in a pretty funny way. Like, they're trying to. Yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but nobody expects to discover a corpse right then, and you start to see more of the world around this organization. So, like, this lodge is lodge number whatever.
49.
Yeah. So,
I think
like,
it's 49, yeah.
Probably, right? So there's at least 48 others, right?
Right.
So there's, like, some kind of parent organization that overarches these, and they've just had, like, Lodge 49 undergoes in the next couple episodes some leadership change issues where they have to kind of, like, alert nationals. And that starts to unravel. Like, you start to realize that, like, things aren't as clear cut as, like, oh, we have a charter from nationals, but, like, there's, like, someone whispers, like, this is not the true lodge, which is just an amazingly, like, and because the rest of the world of this show is so banal and normal.
Yeah.
Like, these are just people drinking in a laundromat during the day. That like, and Dud, like, perks up to, like, what? And everybody else is like, I don't know, he's crazy talking, he's probably drunk. Like,
there's a little bit of Lebowski in it too.
Yeah,
I got that vibe also.
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't, as Wyatt Russell put it in the interview I did with him. It's not my fucking fault that I look more like the dude than my dad.
Yeah, and that brings us to Wyatt Russell, which honestly I think that's the secret weapon of this show. Wyatt Russell and his portrayal of Dud. Like, I wasn't in love with this show. I'm going to continue on and see where it goes, but his performance. I was mesmerized whenever he was on screen. He's on screen for a lot of it because he owns this show.
Walks an amazingly fine line between a level of mooch that you would want to kill, but not being a Lebowski rip.
Yeah.
And part of that is, like, and he said that they are never going to have him smoke weed on the show. Like they're not going to, even if it would fit the scene, like, they're just not going to have Dud be a pot smoker. Like, they've done a few things consciously to, like, we can't accidentally be Lebowski.
Right.
Yeah, no, he doesn't seem like a guy who could afford pot.
Right? I'm amazed he's getting brand name whiskey. Yeah. Like, I don't know where he stole. I think it was a real bottle of Jack. I think it actually was Jack. I'm assuming he stole that.
Because it's like the Costco bottle.
Right?
So yeah, we'll give this a little more rope to see where it goes.
Itself
when I read initially that they were going to drop all 10, I was really hoping you guys would be able to get through, like, 3 or so.
Yeah.
Simply because, like, you get a little deeper into the mystery about the lodge. The guy that they assign Dud to teach him to become a squire, like the initial intro initiation stuff, is just a friggin' wonderfully weird character. And like, he's really into homeopathic healing, and like, he swears he has this parasite worm that he keeps talking about that everybody's like, I don't know, he's been talking about that shit for years. Like, he's just nuts. Like, and so you slowly get deeper into, like, these other weird characters that, because people are basically pawning Dud off on other people. Of, like,
yeah, I get that.
Stop talking to me about the lodge, dude.
Do we know what night this comes on each week?
No clue.
I think Monday nights.
Television still air on specific nights?
It's Monday nights because it's paired with Better Call Saul.
So then we get Tuesday night. All right. Oh yeah, duh.
These things happen.
Which is our next show, which is Better Call Saul, which is out back for its season 4.
No, is this good?
What?
I'm a season behind. It's amazing. It's an amazing show. But other than it being spoiled, who died last season for me, I'm almost a full season behind. So what you were saying earlier about not jumping in at season 4, I started to watch the season opener of this, and then went, you know what? I'm just not going to.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, the thing I'll say about Better Call Saul, and Breaking Bad did this too, but Better Call Saul even more so. It lives in AMC's like quiet moments, slow show thing. Mm-hmm. Not a lot happens in this first episode back.
Well,
I mean, plot wise, like what actually happens? Mike goes to a warehouse. Jimmy faces the death of someone close to him, and I guess there's some notable stuff going on in the drug gang.
Well, so I felt like they had to touch base with everything last season.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But before we even get into that, the black and white opener where we get to see.
Oh, there are going to be spoilers for Better Call Saul, by the way.
Yeah, we should probably get into that. But no, they I think they went the furthest into kind of this post Breaking Bad world that they've done so far. So much so that was actually, a pretty tense.
That was super tense. And what I think was interesting is that from the outset, I was pretty convinced that nothing was going to happen to him. But what they were doing was doing a really good job of showing us just how paranoid his existence is now. Like going to the hospital is the worst possible thing you can imagine, because that's where you're going to give scrutiny to your credentials. Yeah. And he's never really been sure if they're going to work.
I got a Sopranos vibe when we were in the cab.
Oh,
There was the Albuquerque keychain.
Yeah. Do you think that's supposed to be paranoia? Like, I'm not sure.
I think it's paranoia.
Yeah.
Definitely, because if it wasn't, he wouldn't have got out of that cab. He wouldn't have been able to get out of
the cab. Yeah.
Definitely paranoia, but I feel like that was a really great way to start it, because then we have to touch base with what happened to Chuck last season.
Yep.
We had to touch base with the drug gangs.
Yep.
And I think that's probably, for me, the storyline that I was most excited about at the end of last season.
What happens to Michael Mondo's Nacho character?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that,
we know he doesn't make it, or we don't know that, but we're pretty sure.
Yeah. But it's amazing just seeing, like you said, nothing really happens, but we get to see like the stress build on these characters, and it's going to lead them into whatever they get mixed up again with this season.
The thing is, like, I don't need this show to be about whiz-bang plot development every episode, as long as we get performances like this. Like, Jimmy doesn't say more than like 10 words this whole episode. It's all internal. Like, Bob Odenkirk, he was here for ATX Fest as well, and this guy talked about being like a comedian and the challenges of like being an actor. He was brought in as sort of a comedic character in Breaking Bad, and he has developed into a hell of an actor. Like, you see him living his internal life of wondering what he did to his brother and feeling all the weight of that guilt.
Oh man, the fact that he got away scot-free with everything that has been building up with the show, but the way he did it is just like, so it just takes a big chunk of his humanity away.
Yeah. That whole thing that's throughout the whole episode is him basically he's in his own head, and we're watching him be in his own head, and that's amazing stuff. And similarly, Mike's never been a man of many words. But that whole montage where he goes to Madrigal and you watch what he did like for the whole day, it's like they really do a good job of selling you just how boring like detective work must really be, but also how good Mike is at, like, the details are and how important they are. Like that whole thing, and then the reveal of that he was like maybe doing his job when he was doing it. Like I'm not entirely sure what his goal was, but I always love watching to see what he's going to do.
I wouldn't be surprised if they set that up, because that was pretty fantastic. Like, wow, he legitimately could do this job, but for real, like he doesn't have to be on kind of the outs,
right?
But I wouldn't be surprised if next season or next episode they're like, oh no, slow your roll.
This is not what you want. This is not what we hired you for. Yeah.
Quit being so good at security. There's a reason we don't have a camera in the back, buddy.
Yeah. No, I thought that was really, really great. That whole montage was another one of those great things that Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad have always done, in those awesome montage things.
Yeah. It's a shame that we couldn't talk about this one after 2 or 3 episodes, because we really don't know where this season's going to go.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it again.
Yeah.
But also that final scene when Howard opens up and reveals himself to be a human being.
Oh,
and Jimmy just doesn't give. I mean, for him, all he gets out of it is I don't have to feel guilty anymore.
Well,
And he doesn't even pretend. Like, oh, that's too bad. He is so happy to have his burden lifted that he just goes full asshole. It's amazing.
You know what's interesting? I actually interpreted that scene a little differently.
Did you? Okay, yeah.
So just to kind of give you a setup, slightly spoilers, but we lose a main character, and what's his name? Chuck's partner,
Howard.
Howard. So Howard is devastated. Howard thinks this is all because of him.
Yep.
And Jimmy is just so in his funk of like trying to process this, could care less. And I don't think that he was lamenting or thinking, oh, I get away scot-free, I'm really the reason. I think he almost looked at Howard kind of like, you got to make this about you, like...
You think that's what was going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it says something about Howard being kind of full of himself.
Because he does sort of fall apart when Howard's reading him the obituary, too. So that's a reasonable read of it, that he's just like, doesn't need Howard's bullshit right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It could be either way. It's interesting that you took it that way. I'm going to think about it a little differently.
Yeah, I thought this was a fantastic show, and I thought this opened really strong. And I love how slow and how methodical it is, and how beautiful it is. Like it's beautifully shot. I understand. This is what I was going to talk about. Was like, if you came to this show and you'd never seen Breaking Bad, and you jumped in with this episode, this would be the most boring episode of TV you'd ever watched.
Yeah, that's a good assumption.
all of it relies on context and context clues and little nods. And if you don't have those there, if you don't have that built in, this is just watching people do nothing for an hour.
But if you're like Les and say you're a season behind and you're like, oh, maybe I should jump in. Here's the thing. Jump back in where you left off. I did this after season 1. I didn't catch season 2 until
I fully planned to catch up on
all aired.
Season 3.
But I mean, the story, it keeps going strong. I feel like every time they do a season finale, it's like I could keep watching if you had more shows. Because it's this slow burn. But jump back in where you left off.
I can't wait to catch up. I almost watched the season 4 starter simply because I have watched 2 seasons of Breaking Bad. And 2 seasons of Better Call Saul, and I have seen Breaking Bad. So I figure by context I can figure out who's alive and where we're going. But
by the end of season 2, the Jenga tower is starting to wobble, and then in season 3 they knock that mother down.
Yeah, he's not going to be McGill for much longer.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
One of the things I love about this show is how they play with time, and you really have no idea if this is right before the events or if it's
still a few years.
Yeah.
All right. Should we talk about this week's Castle Rock? That is episode 5, Harvest.
Is this the show about the Wisconsin family with accents who go on the lake every weekend, eat a ton of cheese, drink a lot of beer?
No, that is not that show.
Because that's what I do every summer at Castle Rock, Wisconsin.
That's it. I think there's This Is Use. Is that?
This is Use. This is Use, guys.
So, the kid's out.
Yes. So, Castle Rock, you're talking about slow burns. Like, an enormous number of people are dead on this show.
Yeah.
Like, there have been a lot of killings for a show that feels slow.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this was something as I was watching it, in every episode, there's something creepy.
Yeah.
And this episode, there's like 4 or 5 creepy things. The thing
Sissy
where
SpaceX.
Yeah, Sissy SpaceX, she's turned around, she's just gone.
Yeah, and that stupid dog, and there's...
And the kid sitting on top of the house, or sitting in the house.
He fully breaks into...
Yeah.
All right, well, so we should... Do we need to back up and explain Castle Rock at all?
No. People listening, spoilers. We're talking about episode 5. You've been following along.
Yeah, you're either watching the show at this point or you're fast forwarding.
Yeah, or fast forward to the music break and catch the questions. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So in letting the kid out, this coincides with Henry being so ready to leave.
Oh yeah,
like so fucking done with this town.
Yeah. But you can't blame him.
No, I can't. Well, and there's so much. So there's so much weird that has been completely not talked about on this show yet. I watched a little making of this episode, and the producers the creators talked about this being the beginning of Act 2 for the season. So like we've introduced the characters, and now we're about to get into, I guess, the meat of it. I wish this had been a bit more Monster of the Week, and I rarely say that about shows.
Really?
But I still wish that Castle Rock had given me a little more of like dive into one, even just a historical 6 Feet Under style, pick a house and tell me the story behind it each time.
Yeah.
Because it's it's left me feeling a little bit like I'm really having to put trust out there that this is going somewhere and isn't just going to sustain general creepiness for a season and call it good.
I get that. I feel like they've got an arc. I feel like there's an arc in plan.
But and so that's why I was glad to see them say it was like an Act 2.
Yeah.
Because that makes me feel like they do have a plan. It's 10 episodes, I believe.
Yeah.
So we're halfway through.
Yep.
I love that Henry wants to leave. I love that he doesn't have any memories prior to being found by Alan Pangborn. I love Scott Glenn as Alan.
Oh, Scott Glenn's great. I love the parallel where Henry Deaver's talking to him about, I know what it's like not to have any memories. It'll come back to you, and like him dealing with his own lack of memories and trying to reassure this kid who's dealing with what he thinks the same thing.
Yeah.
While his estranged ex Molly is telling him, no.
Something's wrong with this kid.
Yeah, and I love her thing. Like she tells him, like she gives proof of her psychic powers. Like she's not crazy.
Yeah. I love her constantly trying to explain it. Like I'm not explaining this well.
Yeah.
And whoever keeps dilating Bill Skarsgård's eyes, God bless you.
Yeah.
It's super creepy.
He's
Keep
creepy.
It up. Yeah, it's amazing. There was some meme going around of like, can you imagine what it's like to be the eldest Stellan Skarsgård's kids as actors? Like you're always clowns and vampires, and meanwhile your dad's hugging Colin Firth on a boat. There's a whole acting family, but he's great casting for this. And I love him going into like breaking into the house.
Yeah.
They set it up so that it's arguable whether that fight was about to happen anyway. But I feel
it sure
like
doesn't. It seemed to me like it was a birthday thing that escalated, and it
very
definitely
quickly.
feels like
I wonder if it was going to escalate to
it.
just like slightly abusive. You guys have a crappy marriage thing.
I don't know.
That
The whole
got to
thing is,
stabbing
like,
because he was there.
when
or
he
what?
goes in, it is just them singing "Happy Birthday" to the kid, and as soon as he's there, the cracks start appearing.
Yeah.
So I actually think it was going to be a perfectly nice birthday party,
And then he made it a kill,
then
like
he
a
made
mass
it, like-
family suicide.
Yeah, I mean, that is just one of the best uses of sound I've ever seen.
Oh my God! He just goes out to the roof and sits and like.
because we don't see what's happening.
No,
but we
it's
hear
just-
the baby shrieking.
And there's
We hear-
all this
we hear-
screaming, and it
yeah.
settles to just the baby screaming.
We hear
Yeah.
them talking about knives, and like you can like it's such a more effective way to do it.
Well, and he looks at the knife.
Yeah, and TV is a visual medium, so I give huge credit for these creators to like trust their audience and trust their creatives to do a thing where that was more effective than showing us what happened.
I liked Pangborn meeting him in the woods.
Oh God, that was creepy.
That was and I almost jumped to my feet because if you're going to slow pace a show,
yeah,
thank you for having a character level a gun at someone
He's
and
just
go,
like, I'm just gonna kill
who
you."
are you?
yeah.
And like when he looks at the kid, like, are you just point
Are you
blank?
the devil?
Are you the devil?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Like I don't think this kid knows exactly what he is.
Yeah.
But I love the straight answer, like honest straight answer. Like, no, I'm not the devil. You don't know what's going on here, do you?
Yeah. But he knows something because he tells him that he can help.
So books that, I mean, these are touching.
Okay.
So these are touching on all of the Stephen King stories at once. But
Well, The Shining is referenced.
yeah, The Shining's referenced. Cujo's been referenced a couple times now. We've had, Alan Panger. There's Needful Things that's been referenced a bunch. Like there's a whole list. The opening credits references Misery and a bunch of other shit. I feel like there was a beautiful shot of the wildfires and a snippet of the news thing that firefighters still don't know what, and they cut off. And I don't know if it's what caused or what it is or what. But
Right.
So, Tommyknockers, Dreamcatcher, both deal with an alien invasion that is somewhat known, and that the government just kind of deals with periodically by sequestering and burning or killing huge amounts of an area.
Right.
I feel like this fire is trying to destroy whatever body snatched Henry's father.
Interesting.
The sound that Henry keeps hearing, I feel like, is related to like Tommyknockers and the alien mental takeover of that book.
That's interesting because I read it as basically the kid's presence had caused these fires because it also he's like out there watching it with this sort of glee and
I feel like
wonder.
the kid, whatever he is tied to whatever's invading.
Also, the nice thing with the wildfires and all the smoke coming in is it gives them a reason for everybody wearing these like face masks and the creep. Like they give you a reason for everything to be so creepy.
Yes, and it adds this shielded off weird like beyond that smoke, is the world still there?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
there's a fog.
It's
There's the mist vibe of it.
Yeah.
It's isolating. There's going to be creepy shit come out of that fog. Are they burning off aliens? I don't know that the kid necessarily caused the fires, but I feel like whatever the fires are trying to destroy is part of him. Like he is either and at this point, honestly, I don't know if I'm interested to see if this show takes Stephen King's tropes one twist further by being creators that are not Stephen King.
Right.
By taking all this stuff, I'm wondering if they're going to go one step further. They're already a little off Stephen King's normal setup of how the evil in the town works. This isn't Storm of the Century. The kid doesn't have his fingers tinted like the proprietor of Needful Things, like, I will destroy this town with my evil.
Right.
Like, the kid seems like, I'm sorry, I'm doing this. You really shouldn't touch me.
Yeah. Yeah.
He doesn't seem like he wants this to happen. He doesn't seem super he's not stopping doing it.
Right.
He doesn't seem too concerned with not doing it.
I like the ambiguity because, I can't read whether or not he's supposed to be sort of distant alien, doesn't care, or if he's actually supposed to be psychopathic, or if there's a bit of empathy and remorse.
Yeah, I can't tell if he's a vessel for something, and it's just like, I'm innocent, but there's evil that flows through me, or what. But I'm going to be really thrilled if what comes to pass is that Castle Rock, by having an it monster that recurs every 27 years or whatever, ends up having the thing we need to kill an alien invasion. Like, I will be ecstatically happy if we have to sick one style of King evil against another and hope it wins. Like,
that's
if
a crazy
Castle Rock
theory.
has to sick this kid on something.
If this pans out, this is going to be you will have predicted something crazy early on. I'm super into this, and I thought this was actually maybe the best episode so far.
I think it's my favorite episode of it so far. Well, last episode ending with "I'm ready to testify" was so
that was pretty good.
Great. If you're going to lose an actor, I love do it that way.
So every week we put up a questions post on Facebook, and you can go and ask us questions about the TV series we're discussing that week, or whatever else you want to ask us, preferably TV related. And we're going to run through some questions here. Mike Moody says, guys, please give us your predictions for Damon Lindelof's upcoming Watchmen series, and tell us what your favorite Lindelof project is and why. Also, go ahead and call this segment Lindelof Talk Without Grant. Thanks.
So I definitely have a new favorite project, being that huge letter he wrote about Watchmen. Did you guys get to read that?
Yeah, I did see that.
I really like that letter. I don't know if it says anything about how the show's going to be.
So for those who haven't read it, it is basically him riffing on the Alan Moore style, the Watchmaker episode of Watchmen, where Dr. Manhattan puts himself back together, and he's sort of talking about how he's outside of time and how everything informs it. And it's sort of Lindelof talking about his influences and his love of Watchmen and how it's all led him to this moment. I can't decide if I really like it or if it's overly cute.
It was pretty cute.
It's pretty good. It is pretty good. And it does show that at least this is a guy who really does understand the weight of what he's been given to deal with.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that what little direction we have is that it's not going to change the original Watchmen story. It's not going to be like a sequel to it, but it's going to exist in the same universe.
Well, I love that Lindelof thinks any of this will help.
Oh, no. I mean,
it's helped with me.
He can't possibly think that Alan Moore's going to care.
Oh, not Alan Moore. Like, there's going to be there's a subset of nerds that are oiling up the torches right now. And it won't matter it will never matter. Like, there is no version of this show that will not have, like, a visceral level of hate for it on the internet.
Yeah, I think that's true.
But what if?
I am
What
stoked
if
about it.
he
Like,
does
honestly,
this, and everybody loves it. How crazy would that be?
The one thing that I have learned across like years of watching remakes and stuff is that not once has anyone kicked my door in and burnt the original comics. It just hasn't happened. I've had them in a safe for so long, and no one's ever come and destroyed the original works. I can still go back and read the book. I can still go back and look at the comic. I can ignore movies. It turns out that's a thing. You can just like ignore shit that you don't like. That said, wow, there's going to be a whole lot of hate about this, and like it kind of bums me out that like I don't feel like any amount of there's no right thing he can say.
There's nothing you can do to make people not. Yeah, there are some people who do not ever want Watchmen adapted, and that person includes Alan Moore, and a lot of his fans, as a result, will never want it adapted.
Yeah. That said, I feel like the show is probably going to have problems. Some of those problems are going to be related to the realities of television production. Yeah. I think it's going to probably make some choices that are great. It's going to make some other choices that are bad. And in general, I'm probably going to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, did
Way
you guys
to get
like
academic with it? Yeah.
Did you guys like The Leftovers overall?
Didn't watch it.
I did. Yeah,
it looked like just the church scene from the end of Lost, and I passed.
I think if I were going to watch one or the other, I would probably watch Leftovers before I watch Lost again.
Tomorrowland is my favorite thing.
Oh yeah, I definitely.
Really?
Yep.
Wait, Tomorrowland, the Brad Bird movie?
Yeah.
Yep.
Lindelof wrote the screenplay.
Ooh.
I really loved Tomorrowland.
I like Tomorrowland,
the
but every time I've seen it, I've liked it less.
Didn't you see the better version of Tomorrowland? What was that called with Michael Shannon or
Man of Steel?
the kid with the glasses?
Willy Wonka? Oh no, man! Midnight Special was terrible.
Midnight Special.
Oh, I did not like
No,
Midnight
that was
Special
terrible.
either.
I was
love
actually
Midnight
angry at the
Special.
end of that movie
Yeah,
for
if
the
I-
cop-out non-movie that
Yeah,
was.
if I
that's how I felt about Tomorrowland.
No.
If I had to choose
the only
between-
thing wrong with Tomorrowland was the killing the villain, who
Also,
was
it's
not
about an
really a
hour
villain.
longer than it should have been.
That's every movie.
He also did the screenplay for World War Z, which I think might be my favorite movie that he's done, because actually I have issues with Tomorrowland. He also did Star Trek Into Darkness, which I hated. Prometheus, which I hate even more.
I've never seen Prometheus.
Don't. Cowboys and
don't
Aliens,
think
which
it's
I've never
that
seen.
Oh, Cowboys and Aliens is fucking awful.
And then going back to his TV, of course, he did Lost, which, like I say, I think I would put Leftovers over Lost. If I was going to rewatch, I think Lost is more ambitious, and I like it more, but Leftovers holds together better as a project because it's not quite so long.
You know what I'm hoping for? I think this could be like a Westworld surrogate.
I hope so.
You know, I feel like you have the source material to make it that interesting and that broad in scope. Do it. Like,
I am hoping that Watchmen is just jaw-droppingly spectacular. The source
me too.
material is great. I think Lindelof could do this very well as a television series. I think it plays to his strengths, I know there's fans that don't think they're strengths, but I think this will play well to him.
All right. Jonathan Huffnagel says, "Dear TV dudes, best Monday ever. I just checked my TV schedule and soon realized that Better Call Saul and Venture Brothers are back with brand new seasons, both premiering on the same glorious day. I see you'll be talking Saul, but what about my bros? Please, 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 with cherries on top, will you please talk about Venture Brothers a few times this season? Last season was so good. I'd love to hear your take on things as they progress."
When did last season air? Was it 8 or 10 years ago?
I don't know.
Venture Brothers is the very first show that ever killed itself for me with an erratic airing schedule.
So Venture Brothers, I have not watched much of it. I started watching
loved
finally. I watched all of season 1, midway through season 2, and I don't understand why everyone loves this show so much.
I adored it. It was a well-placed, like well-centered callback to a lot of cartoons that I liked as a kid. So there's the weird Johnny Quest vibe and some other nods.
There's a ton of references.
I like the voice actors.
Yep.
But the like madcap craziness of the plots started like they work for me. I like how it structures its plots. Sometimes its episodes are straight hard to follow, but it's always super fucking ambitious. My problem is that I think I watched 3 seasons of it, but I'm not sure because I feel like they started airing in like weird bursts and then having ridiculous, is there going to be another season? I don't know. We'll get it out when we get it out. That's fine. Like, I'm all for creators taking their time and making a right product, but Adult Swim is that,
It's Adult Swim.
Yeah. So Adult Swim were actually pretty good at keeping their shit off torrents and stuff. So it fell off of all of that for a little while.
Now it's all on Hulu.
Is it finally all on
It's
Hulu?
all on Hulu. That's
So
what
for
I'm
the
finally
longest
watching
time,
it.
like without really working to try to acquire it illegally or finding or paying for cable that I was simply not going to do, and I didn't do either of those options. So Venture Brothers just vanished for several years. The last thing I really saw I know I saw some after David Bowie was revealed to be the leader of the Guild of Calamitous Intent.
Kyle, any Venture Brothers?
No, which is a total shame. I've never watched Venture Brothers, but I'm a huge Johnny Quest fan. Like, I rewatch Johnny Quest on the regular, and I've never taken the time to go find the show. If it's all on Hulu,
You'll love it.
It's all on
check it
Hulu.
out.
I'm up through season 2. I like it. I'm enjoying it, but people talk about like it's a religion, and I'm
There are
not quite
super
at that
fans,
point.
man.
Kind of like Archer, or more like Bob's Burgers.
It's closer to Archer.
It's way closer to Archer. When I
Yeah.
first saw Archer, it was honestly when I first started watching Archer, it was to fill in the gap of whenever the hell Venture Brothers wasn't airing. I think, if I remember right.
Jonathan, you'll be happy to know that it is on the schedule. I've got on the schedule for the August 23rd show, which is going to be also Disenchantment on Netflix. I figured.
Oh yeah,
Animation block. So yes, we will be talking about it. I will be caught up to maybe season 3 by that point, so I'm going to be wildly uninformed.
shallow gravy.
Jonathan Habmichael says, "Hi dudes, I'm in Sweden. The first stop on my trip around the world. By the world, I mean parts of Europe and the U.S." Anyways, I was watching an episode of the long-running Swedish thriller Beck, starring Christopher Hivju, a.k.a. Game of Thrones Tormund Giantsbane. I could not get into the character because I could not separate my thoughts and opinions of Tormund. I felt more justified when he started eating apple slices from a butterfly knife in the middle of a serious case meeting without literally blinking an eye. He was acting in the ways that reminded me of Tormund so much. Is there an actor or actors that played a notable character that makes it impossible to not see that said character when the actor is on another show?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Sarah Michelle Gellar is Buffy forever.
I'm trying to think.
Like there's nothing she can do that's gonna.
I think the best one is Orange is the New Black. I mean, you can't look at Jason. What's his name?
Jason Biggs.
Jason Biggs, and not see a pie on
fucker?
his penis.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
It's usually characters that play like dead-eyed sociopath villains. Like I spoke to the actor that played Officer Herman on Orange is the New Black.
Yeah.
Jason Altman, who was a super nice guy, and I'll be honest. He'll always be kind of a dead-eyed SWAT team dude running in. Like I haven't seen him in a lot of other roles, and like until he breaks that, like right now, it's like, oh man, that's a mean character.
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons.
Really, J.K. Simmons is a chameleon for me.
So the first thing I ever really saw him on was that long run on Oz,
Oh yeah.
where he is Schillinger,
Yeah.
the eye patch wearing rapist Nazi who
Yeah,
crucifies
Schillinger's a great
someone
character.
to a parquet floor.
Yeah.
And he is also the voice of the yellow M&M. He is Jerry in the Mexican with the bad comb over.
He played a very sensitive psychotherapist in Law and Order SVU, which is like the opposite of Schillinger.
Yes.
He is the guy who would deal with all of Schillinger's victims.
But I'll be real, I spent years yelling at the screens in every role J.K. Simmons showed up in of like, get out of the room, he's going to crucify you to a floor. Like, I yelled it at everybody. Yeah.
yeah, that main character in Entourage, you don't see him in much stuff
no, you don't.
because I think you can't unsee him.
He's going to be Vinny Chase forever.
Yeah. Vinny Chase. I don't even know his real name.
That may be the level of
Adrian
his,
Grenier.
Yeah, that may be the
Vinny
level of his
Chase.
acting anyway.
Perhaps.
He may be Victor Chase. He may be Vincent Chase forever.
Well, he didn't get Aquaman.
No.
James Cameron's Aquaman.
All right, final question. Alec Miracle says, "Dear Randy, I love all the anti-Trump posting you posts. Good, because it's going to be more of it. But now the time has come where you must choose to pick one celebrity from TV who isn't from SNL to play the Donald in whatever kind of show you want it to be." Jonathan Hofnagel, by the way, gives a great answer. He says, "I vote for Thomas F. Wilson. In his older years, he's looking more and more like Trump," which, by the way, makes a lot of sense because he is the character that Trump was based on, or Biff in the future was based on Trump.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Like that is, and
legit was. Yeah.
I just watched Back to the Future 2, and I'm like, oh my God, it really is.
Oh, yeah.
It's Trump as president.
But no, looking like Trump has nothing to do with the casting of this.
I
There is
think-
one perfect person.
Who's the perfect person?
Rosie O'Donnell.
Oh my God, she'd be amazing.
Oh, gosh.
I was going to say Nick Offerman. I would like to see Nick Offerman play
Would be
Trump.
great, but I feel like there's competency in his eyes
Yeah.
that I don't think he can fully dispel. I think Rosie O'Donnell would be perfect because A, she will swing for the fences right now. Have you
yeah.
seen her performances
Yeah.
recently? Like, she's
Yeah.
great. Also, it would personally irritate the man.
Yes.
Like,
And that's worth doing.
yeah.
I think it would be really funny if they cast just a really talented child actor to play like a child version of Trump.
Yeah, what happened to Kid President?
Is it something like that?
I think
what would kid president under Trump look like? Like just
man.
one squalling kid? Like,
oh man, I mean, we are seeing kid presidents.
yeah, that's right. It's just Trump.
But I think what I want a show where every week somebody different plays Trump, and it's just an ongoing story. But we've seen
that'd be good too.
It's a dangerous thing because we savaged our cartoon president because we felt it was so irresponsible. So I kind of feel like even if you could get Rosie O'Donnell, I don't know if I want to see it.
Yeah.
Less exposure is better.
So what? Alec Baldwin is stepping away?
No. He's just saying other than Alec Baldwin, who is great at it.
All right.
That's our show for the week. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Les. Thank you, Kyle.
Sure. Thank you, Randy.
And until next time,
TV Dudes out.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast and a member of the Electric Sweater Podcast Network. We are exclusively listener-supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/tvdudes. You can like us on Facebook and Twitter @TVDudes. All the music for our show is by our friend and original TV dude, Gregory J. Amani Smith. To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com and electricsweater.com. I'm Grant Davis. Thanks for listening.